Shalom Fam. I just pray that the sound is good. To be honest, I barely went live this evening because my daughter wanted to be in the room and she did not want me to be on the computer. But either way. So fam, this evening I'm bringing you a video from my personal experience with traveling and doing business in Tanzania. And this also is more of I hope that someone can find it motivational or just put that fire back under you or that fire back in your heart for Africa or Tanzania. So most of you know that we have our business set up in Tanzania. And for the people who are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. And for my returning family, thank you again. I'm sorry about the weird angle of the camera because I had an issue with my laptop. For some reason, my mic is not working. I couldn't really figure it out. So I had to like change my setup and add my phone into the mix. And yeah, y'all see these fishing poles in the back? No, I have not used them in a while. My daughter just used them, I think, last week. But I don't get to use them that much, as much as I would like to. But fam, this evening I'm going to talk to you about why Black Americans or people of the diaspora should still build in Tanzania or move to Africa. So Africa is calling us, rather we want to move there or not. So some people have been living and traveling in Africa for years, and I just think that it's some stuff that people just don't discuss. A lot of people discuss a lot of the issues and not enough solutions to some of the issues. So I just want to come from a personal view. You know, people like me, you know, me and my family were average. I don't think we are in this category of like wealthy Black Americans or however y'all, you know, people categorize us. I think we're um, I don't even know if we're middle class no more based off the income that teachers make at this point. But fam, I know I look rough. Just bear with me this evening. I promise I'm gonna bring some good information and just some like good personal experience for the people who don't really know about doing business in Africa. So these are some of my reasons why I think Black Americans or people of the diaspora should still move to Africa, still should travel to Africa. If anything, you know, just pick one country and experience Africa in some capacity. You know, that's my biggest encouragement because coming from a person who wanted to go to Africa back in 2017 with my graduate class, and I did not get the opportunity to do that simply because I didn't have the funding and I really did not push and advocate for myself enough. So for the people, if you get the opportunity to go, please go. Okay. So I thought I fixed my PowerPoint, but clearly it still has some issues. And fam, I know y'all tired of me doing this, but I don't really know when you save the PowerPoint and you bring it over to StreamYard, for some reason it does some kind of little wonky thing. I don't really know. I'm assuming that's with the download, but bear with me. So one reason why I believe that Tanzania is a good country is because of the political stability. So I think that Tanzania has been at peace for a very long time. If you look historically, it's been a peaceful transition for a lot of diaspora and people just doing business. Like if you look at the Chinese and the Asians and how they have been doing business in Tanzania for a long time, to the point where they, you know, have forced Tanzania to put in some laws in place to stop them from pretty much taking local jobs or taking local positions. So I think the foundation for growth and collaboration in Tanzania, above all, should encourage you to travel to Tanzania. Now, some of my other points later in the video, I'm gonna, of course, talk about Africa as a whole and how it's just always been calling us. Like Africa has always been calling us, you know, at least some of us, because some people say Africa not calling them for whatever reason. All right, so favorable investment and land opportunities. Now, with this one, you know, some people don't go to Africa to build. Some people don't move, you know, directly to Tanzania because they want to build and they want to like start this big business. But the laws that's in place now in Tanzania, you know, in most African countries, they want the, you know, foreigners or people of the diaspora, they want you to come and do big business. They want you to make big investments not only to help the economy, but to help the local people, create some jobs, and maybe make connections. Maybe the country is in need of something, like maybe you can come and fill that need. So I think that we have to unlock our potential. We haven't unlocked our potential as investors. So I want everyone to think about this. Like, in light of all the things that have been in conversation with Africa, from the scamming in Ghana, the people dying in Ghana, people dying in Gambia, much respect for people who have lost people, lost family members in Africa, you know, that seemed to just be the main topic of conversation. Like, some people move to Africa for whatever reason. Some people just move to get away. Some people move to retire. But it's some people who have an idea, or the Most High have put a dream in their heart, or some type of business opportunity. But because we come from America, or we come from the West, and we feel like everything will be so difficult, everything's going to cost so much, we stray away from that because we want to save money. And I know a lot of diaspora who have moved to Africa, and it's always about them saying, oh, I want to go over there and, spend all my money. Well, when you think of the grand scheme of things, $6,000 for 20 acres or $2,000 for 5 acres, you know, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. And that's not hard for a family of 3 brothers and sisters, or, it's not hard for a small family to pull together and purchase land, because that little bit of money can go a long way in an African country. So there's investments that we could do that I think we just don't take advantage of it. Like, we haven't unlocked that potential because, for one, we think the government is out to get us in African countries. The government in African countries are nothing like government agencies in the West. So we know government agencies in the West, definitely America, are not always looking at people of African descent in a good light. So it makes it harder for us to get investments, make it harder for us to even start businesses, if we don't have like perfect credit. So when you go to Africa, only thing that they're going to be looking at is maybe your passport when you get into the country, and they're going to be looking at what you plan to do, like your investment, your money. So if you have a little bit of money, or if you and your family have pulled together and, put a little money to the side, you can get, you can unlock these opportunities, investment opportunities in Tanzania or in different African countries. So I can only speak about land opportunities and investment opportunities in Tanzania. Even though a lot of people have been getting discouraged with the new, 15 sectors or sectors that, have been Shalom, Mom. I know you would have loved to be on the live. I would have loved for you to be on the live as well. I just believe that what we should be more so focused on is pulling together with our immediate family first. I'm gonna just go with that. Because I can only speak for me, because I've only come together with my immediate family, aside from Mr. Clyde and Miss Maria from Jamaican African Travels. So I'm gonna talk about them a little bit later. So the government encourages foreign investments. So that's a big thing in Tanzania. If you plan to do an investment, sometimes, we can't come together and come with 300,000 or 500,000, but we can invest in land. We can start a local company. We can do things that will, show the government that we're serious. So I'm gonna talk about the business setup in just a little bit. So it is development that we can get into. So another thing is, understanding that Tanzania has natural beauty. For some people, they go for the beauty. If the country is not beautiful, or, a lot of people just feel that some African countries don't have the beauty of the West and or the modern feel. To be honest, if you go into Africa for modern, you will have to live in a city, because if you want to live in a village, you're not going to get, that modern feel. But if you're looking for like natural beauty, Tanzania definitely is hands down like the most beautiful. Like, even not even national parks, you don't have to go on a safari and pay $500-600 to do a safari. You can just go to a small village and just take a hike through the small village, and you will experience the beauty. You may not see the elephants and the lions and all that stuff that you want to see, rhinos on the safari, but you can take in, a lot of beauty. And it is a spiritual connection when you get there. So you feel it. You feel it in your ruach, like when you get there. So as soon as you touch ground on the land, trust me, you're going to feel a big difference. It's going to be like a weight will be lifted off your shoulders. All right, so my mom just left a comment. So, I got to read Sister Betty comments. I know a lot of y'all would love to see Sister Betty on here. I actually tried to do a live with her today, but, after assembly, she wasn't really feeling up to it, and, can't make people do stuff. All right. It is smart to invest in your family, and that's what I'm about to talk about next. So, okay. So this is like my main slide here, family. Like, this live was not meant to be that long. It's meant to just get straight to the point. So if you are here for that, you ready to get to the point, this is where you need to be right here. This is the meat of my presentation. So starting from scratch and advantages. So I'm gonna tell you the number one advantage, and Brother Clyde from Jamaican African Travels will co-sign this. Your advantage as a foreigner or a American, Black American, or whatever American you are when you come to Tanzania, or if you go to any African country, is your US dollar. So you have that advantage over just the general population. You can build how you want to build in the country, or you can grow as fast as your dollar is coming in. If you don't have the dollars, then it'll be slow. So your building can be fast or slow. And the reason why is because building in Tanzania comes with a lot of challenges. But if you're creative, if you are innovative, you have vision, and you have, you organize, you can build even bigger opportunities, because the country is growing, is building, like it's in its growing phase right now. If you see, like, when you go to Tanzania, when you see the development from city center, and you just start to drive outside of city center, you see new businesses popping up. You see new gas stations. You see new shopping centers. You see people building their homes. You see people building compounds. You see people building hotels. People are really building in that country, and it's because it's just wide open. So, and I want to talk about something, because someone mentioned to me, and it was in one of the comments, like that. This is one thing that get to me. I don't understand why people always discourage people from building in an African country, or moving there, or trying to move there permanently. When you build, you set more of a foundation versus trying to rent from somebody for 1 to 2 or 3 years. It's better to build something, purchase land or lease land through your company, versus you trying to rent from somebody who's going to raise the rent every year on you, when that $6,000 or that $5,000 that you put in to the company. I can't even keep up with these comments right now. That you put into the company, you don't even, or you put into the apartment that you've been renting, you don't even see any fruits from that. So, like I said, building in Tanzania can be challenging, I know, and even acquiring land can be very challenging, but development can be quick. So if you start a company, and in Tanzania, if you have a local person, a local partner that wants to build something with you, they want to develop with you, then you can build cheap. You can build for cheap. It won't even cost you that much. Without saying too much, I'm telling you, it does not cost you that much. One day we're going to talk about the cost of building on this channel, and I just hope that the Most High, give us the opportunity to do that. But if you guys want to not rent from whoever, because most of these people who rent to you, they are building properties as they take your rent every single year, every 6 months. These people are buying new little lots, and they're putting bricks on it, and they building it up. So maybe you rent for the first year you move to this African country. Then in the middle of that year, maybe you got your business set up. Maybe you got you got your business partner. As soon as you get those business licenses and you have your business document set up, go and look for land. Get that sales agreement in your company's name, and develop something. develop something, start building something, especially if you want your family to stay in that country for a long time. Now, I want to touch on something because a lot of people misunderstand this. They think that they can take their 5,000 and they're good. You need more capital, of course. That's where your family comes in. And let me add, Sister Betty's comment back up here. So we know, Sister Betty said our family was blessed to link up with Jamaican African Travels because the first family we linked up with was not the most high, but the synagogue of Satan. So yes, most of we connected with a family, a couple before we connected with Jamaican African Travels. Come to find out, these were some of the biggest scammers out there. They were scamming most of the diaspora, and the diaspora already know about those people, so I'm not even going to touch on that too much. I'm going to go back to her other comment. She said, Shabbat Shalom, family. Arthur, I would have loved to be on your live this evening. If you have told me you're going to live, it sounds good. Maybe me and you can plan a live tomorrow, Sister Betty. All right, let me go to the other comment real quick. All right. I must have missed this part and how it connected with most of the things that we. Okay. So listen, fam. I'm gonna go to the next comment. So here she go with these funny comments. I ain't even gonna go into that, fam. I'm gonna come back to the comments. Let me finish my presentation. Okay. So fam, when we go back to developing and you purchase your company, or you set up your company, you want to purchase some land. You have your business partner. Y'all decide y'all want to develop a small hotel. Let's say you want a small little hotel resort, and on that resort you want to offer, airport pickup through your resort, and you want to offer laundry service on property, and you want to do all that stuff that's included with your resort, and you want to put together a package, and y'all have a business plan. Y'all have a actual business plan. You have a vision. So what you do is you find your land. However you find your land, through your driver. Most drivers can help you find land. Local people can help you find land. Boater drivers can help you find land. You can find real estate companies in Tanzania that can help you find land. The best and the most affordable land is going to be village land, I'll be honest, because village land is going to be just not favorable for big investors because they don't want to have to make roads. They don't want to have to, tread down, mountains to find ways to get to the property. I'm just using that as an example, but you can easily find village land on a flat plain, and you can easily create a road. So the only downside about village land is that you will have to cut the road. You'll have to make some development to the road, but it's worth it because you get a lower price for the land. So when you lease the land, initially when you do the sales agreement with your company and your lawyer present, once you have surveyed the land with the surveyor, because you do a sketch of the land first, and then you will survey the land officially with that same surveyor, hopefully, if you got a good one. And then once you get to that next stage, you can file, or you can try to lease the land through the land ministry. And from what I'm told, because we're not at that stage yet, or we're not finished with that stage, what I'm told, you could get 33 to 66 to 99-year lease. And the lease will be through the land ministry, Tanzanian government, with your company. So you can easily renew it if your company is still in good standing and you are still developing in Tanzania. And from what I'm told, as soon as you start developing on the land, the government is going to see that development and they're going to know that you're serious. So another thing is, and I know Mr. Cloud will want me to mention this, because when you start that company, remember to file your monthly taxes, your annual returns. Even if you're not making money, you have to file your returns. So the keys to being successful, to make that successful transition to Tanzania. All right. Oh, and that is a good point, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't keep up with comments, and I barely even made it to do this live. So a key resource, I would say the first thing is to get you a lawyer that have practiced in Tanzania or in that African country for 10 to 15 years. If they haven't practiced for 10 to 15 years, you don't really want to use them, especially being a diaspora. because you want somebody who have experience with dealing with diaspora issues, or like people of diaspora, Americans. You know, you want somebody to like really try to find different ways, you know, different loopholes to help you. Like, you want somebody with an open mind, because sometimes if you get a new lawyer, they have to Google stuff to find out what they can do. They have to go ask other lawyers. You better off getting to that company, or getting to that lawyer who has built their company behind like helping diaspora people. Like, so it is lawyers there, like I'm telling you. And I want to eventually do an interview with a live interview with, you know, a lawyer. I think that'll be a good thing for the diaspora. And I think I talked about that before. So the next thing is, as far as being making that successful transition, is connecting with local government authorities. So if you know you want to purchase in a village, it is important, and I've said this so many times before, I said it a year ago, you want to establish a relationship with that village chief or the village leaders in that village. So you want to go, if you ask anybody in that area, you driving down Bagamoyo Road, you driving down the main road, and you see some land, you see something, stop, talk to somebody who's selling fruit, talk to somebody, and they'll tell you where the village office is. Go to that village office, you tell them that you want to look for land. So in 2023, I made my first trip. Like I mentioned before, I linked up with this couple through this. I don't even want to talk about these people. Anyways, I linked up with these people who were not that honest. Anyways, I had a feeling that something wasn't A1. So even though I saw land through them, I went and found land on my own too. And that was my first time in Africa, in Tanzania. And I was able to talk to a driver, talk to this one guy. I don't even remember how I met Michael, how I met him, but I think I met him like through some Facebook group or something. He said he had some land. I thought it was a scam, but I was like, you know what? I might as well go look at it. So I went 3 hours outside of the city center, and I saw this beautiful land. And the first thing we did, we went and met the chief. And the chief let me know, and the chief spoke a little bit of English too, and it was good. And he told me that if my family want to build there for generations, it'll be a great thing, because it wasn't a lot of development in that area. So he saw it as a great thing that we would develop there. So still to this day, I actually text Michael through WhatsApp. I think it was like maybe like 10 months ago. I texted him, and he told me that he was actually working outside of Dar es Salaam now. So he would have to take a trip to get in town if I ever want to see the land again. But his family owned the land, and you know, either way, it's a lot of land in Tanzania. So you got to connect with the local village first, and then, seeing that you already got a company, you need to talk to the Tanzanian government, the revenue authority. So you need to make sure you on top of your taxes, man. On top of your taxes. Okay, so I'm gonna do these last two, and then I'm gonna read some of the comments. So find a solid diaspora entrepreneur that you can be mentored by. And I know I got a typo on that, but it's best to have some mentor, somebody who is doing it, and you can learn from them. But you want to find somebody who have a similar background to you. You know, a diaspora who just moved, you know, maybe 2-3 years ago, and you want to talk to them and see what they're doing. So the way you can find those, you can find them through groups. I met someone through this Pan-African group, and they develop in all kinds. They're in different groups, investment groups, and I don't really encourage groups, but that's how you meet people. That's how you rub shoulders with people. So it's just important that you find someone that you maybe can just learn from, and even learn from their mistakes. And if they're willing to kind of mentor you a little bit, then it'll be a good thing. So, and the most important thing, all right, from making your successful transition is connecting with Jamaican African Travels. So if you plan to travel to Tanzania, and you know that's where you want to move, a lot of people are moving to Tanzania, and Jamaican African Travels, you can consult with them. I don't believe that they want to take on your whole project, but they would love to help you make a good transition into the country. They can organize a trip. I know we can talk about this before. They can help you plan to buy land. They can recommend a lawyer. They can recommend where you look for land at. and you can just talk to them for advice because they've been in the country going on 4 years now, and they literally have been through a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. So you can learn from their experience. Sister Betty, I'm gonna put your comment up. She said when she came to Africa, she felt like Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall coming to America, but coming to Africa when she put her feet on the ground. It was amazing. Flow through her body. So, like I mentioned before, when you touch the ground, you feel it spiritually. You feel that pull to be there. You know, I'm not saying that you're not gonna feel some type of way when you get attitudes and people don't receive you well, or you get stares. Shake all that off because it's worth it. Like, it's worth getting past all that. You gotta, in order to be to be successful, you have to get outside of being comfortable. So if we want to be comfortable all the time, then just stay in America and just stay with your oppressor and continue to let them oppress you. I know people say you can build here, you can do stuff here. I just don't see a long-term future for us, people of Black African descent, to be here. I know some people believe that we just meant to be here and this is our land, but guess what? We already know what they're going to do to it before they hand it over to anybody. All right. So Sister Betty got another comment. They discourage people from moving to Africa because they never went themselves, and if they went, they made poor money. I think she made poor money. Oh, poor money. Business choices causing them to return back to the U.S. Yes. So a lot of people are talking down on Africa right now because they made a lot of mistakes. Or not just that they made a lot of mistakes. Maybe they came in contact with the wrong people. Those people did not necessarily help them build a solid foundation. And, it just discouraged their whole move because we almost felt the same way. We almost felt led to just be done with Africa, man. Like, we almost felt like it was just time to just let it go. But because we knew that the Most High really had his hands on everything that we were doing, because everything that we went through, I'm telling you, the Most High sent warning signs before. And I talked about this a long time on the video, maybe like a year ago. Like, the Most High was sending red flags that first week that I was in Tanzania. But because I wanted to be in Africa so bad and I wanted to move to Africa so bad, I ignored them because I say, this is just me, my gut trying to talk me out of, doing what we need to do. But really, that was the Most High saying, no, maybe you just need to take your time, step away from these people and not make this decision. So even when we tried to move past the uneasy feeling, which was the red flag from the Most High giving us discernment, the transactions didn't go through the bank. The land couldn't even be sold to us. We were denied a few times. Plus, the lawyer that we were using, or still use to this day, he had just this bad feeling. He said, no, we can't do it. It's just not a good thing because they, the family who were selling the land, they just did not answer all the questions well. So he just wasn't feeling it. So the Most High will stop some things. He'll give you, he will reveal stuff about certain people so that you can make an informed decision and use discernment. So the Most High still want to give us free will. You just got to make the better decisions. So my wife, Sarah Yah, said, Shalom family, remember you need all signatures from all families. So if you have a person selling land to you and he's an older brother, he may have younger brothers, he may have even cousins that have ties to that land. All of those family members have to agree to sell the land. Otherwise, you're going to have family members coming back to try to get the land. I know a lot of people have heard of this happening in Ghana, heard of it happening in Tanzania. It does happen. People do try to resell land, or they try to sell the land without their family knowing. So that's why it's important for you to have your lawyer pull together that sales agreement and make sure your company is signing that sales agreement, and the village chief and all the village council members are present when you make that sale. So maybe one day I can do a video about that whole process. I think we kind of talked about that before in the past. All right. Shalom, Tim. You say, hey brother, I recently came across your channel and immediately subscribed. I may or may not end up in Tanzania, but still look forward to connecting with diaspora, doing things on the motherland or in the motherland. Shalom, brother. Welcome. And trust me, Tanzania, if you haven't even been there, you definitely want to travel there before you decide to move there. If you already been, I don't know if you say you've been there. But if you plan to travel there in the next year or so, it's definitely good to stay for more than 2 weeks if you can. If you can stay a month, you get a good. It'll give you a good gauge of whether you want to be in that country or not. So me and my wife was just reminiscing about how we were complaining, y'all, when we were in Tanzania, because y'all know I'm back in the U.S. right now. If y'all don't know, I'm actually back in the U.S. I'm working, and we're still building in Tanzania, and I'll be going back in the next few months. So aside from that, me and my wife was complaining about how we had to spend 30,000 T shillings, which is 15 USD, about 15 USD. We complained about how we had to pay that to feed our whole family when we went out to eat. You know, we complained. We thought that was too much. Excuse me, fam. We complained about paying $15. And now if you go out to eat here in America, you're going to spend $45 every time or more, 70, especially if you got a family of 4 or a family of 5 or a family even of 3. So you can't feed your whole family for $15 at all, ever, especially when you're going out. All right. Sister Betty says, yes, remember in Russia when I know she meant Arusha because I know she's doing Texas speech. So she said, remember in Arusha is what she meant. The tour guide from the mountain climb told us face to face that we were not African. It hurt her feelings. And if y'all haven't seen that video, go and watch it. It's when we took a hike when my family first visited us in Tanzania. So that was an interesting conversation, to say the least. But the tour guide was very helpful, but he definitely let us know, even though we claim to be African American, he say that we are not African. And a lot of people agreed with him that we are not African. And to be honest, I know that we're not born in Africa, but all of us, you know, are descendants of the motherland. So despite how he felt, which was very interesting, yes, I knew you meant Arusha, but Arusha is probably one of my favorite places. And when we get there in the next few months, I'm definitely gonna be in Arusha. We already planned that we're gonna stay in Arusha for a week. We only gonna be in Dar for like a few days, do some moving around, and then we're going to Arusha because, fam, Arusha is so nice. Like, it's cool, and the Green Mountain Hotel is number one. I'm looking forward to that. Trust me. All right, brother Tim says, that's good to know, brother. I will keep that in mind and stay at least 30 days for my first trip. All right, for my test trip. All right, that, trust me, it's definitely worth it. All right, so I think I got 2 more slides. So again, I got another typo. My wife gonna say something about it because she always say you should go back through your slides, and I did, and I thought that I corrected everything. So why the dream is still alive? Like, why are we still talking about Africa? Why is Solo Soul still trying to tell people to move to Tanzania? You don't really understand it until you uproot your entire family and you move them to that country, or you uproot yourself and move. I uprooted my whole family. We closed 2 businesses, which I spoke into existence because I told my clients that that would be my last year having my studio in my hometown. I told them, like, hey, either I'm gonna be in another city or I'm gonna be in another country. And they said, well, whatever you do, just let us know ahead of time. And I was like, I'm telling you now. So y'all mark it down. And I kid you not, 9 months later, I went to Tanzania. 8 months later, after that, after the visit, we were moving, moving to Tanzania. So the dream is still alive. Like, the pool is still there. The Most High is still giving us visions, dreams, and business plans, and just giving us opportunities to move freely to Africa. So I think while the door is open, go travel, go move there. So I when I typed this, of course, I wasn't thinking about everything, but building in Africa is more than just a dream. It's an opportunity to create and set a foundation outside of the U.S. So don't let the media or don't let scammers stop you from what Yahuwah is, it has set in place for us. Like, the Most High has shown us that it's opportunities in these African countries. Why shouldn't we take advantage of them? Because we could get hurt, or because we can get sick when we go there. Or we got to pay $10 extra when we go to the market. You know, it's crazy, man. Like, it's crazy. All right. Brother Tim say, are you planning to get long-term residency in Tanzania? If so, what's your plan? So actually, brother, we had, well, actually, our permit actually just expired, our 2-year permit. So we actually going through the process of renewing our permit. So when you have a company, you can get an investor's permit, and that's the route we went initially. And we may do that same route again. It's like $3,000, and it includes your wife if you have younger children that's not school age, and you can go that route. And then they have like tiers, you know, different investors levels permits. So if you are at a student age, Brother Tim, you can get a student permit, or if you are at retirement age, or you have family members that's at retirement age, they can get a retirement visa. But for like working people, like working age, you have to either be an investor or you have to be coming to work for a company. So you can get a work permit, which is 1,000 USD. And then if you have a company, or you know someone who has a company in Tanzania, you can say that you're coming to work for that company. You just need a letter from that company, you know, saying that you have a job through that company, and you can get a visa through that company and have a, you know, you can get a 2-year visa through that. So if you go to immigration, Tanzania immigration, they have like all the tiers for the permit. So it's pretty laid out, to be honest. So we did the investor's permit initially first. So my daughter has my daughter had to get a student visa, and I know people who are, well, I know one person from YouTube, and I can't even remember the name, but they had a volunteer visa. And I actually met 2 people in my hometown, a husband and a wife, who stayed in Tanzania for 11 years, and they had a volunteer permit. They were doing missions work for 11 years in Tanzania, and they renewed that visa. I don't know if it was every 2 years, but if you are through a nonprofit organization and you're doing missions work, you can get a visa through that method too. So some people do that. I don't know, but you need to get a decent lawyer or someone who can help you do the application. So Sister Betty say Arusha was the most beautiful place I think I've been on earth. The weather is amazing and people are very kind. So yeah, Arusha is probably our favorite place, man, in Tanzania, man. It's definitely the spot, man. It's definitely the spot, man. I can't wait to get back. And I always say this, and I'm gonna say it again. If we had the opportunity to just live in Arusha, I would pick Arusha over Dar es Salaam or back. I would pick it over it any day. So it's my opinion. All right, so all right, you welcome, brother. You welcome. All right, so the last slide I got is, of course, us, and our company is a hospitality. It says tourism, but you know how Tanzania is with their new policies now. So we do offer some type of tourism package with our Airbnb. So in 2026, the Most High is willing, all of our um, all of our business plans will be back in action because we'll be back living in the country, and that'll be just a beautiful thing. And of course, fam, more details to come on that. But if you plan to travel to Tanzania, for us, we are right now we at 3 people for sure traveling with us in May, and that's not even include my wife because I don't even know if she's traveling back with us in May. Um, I don't even know if she's going back with us in May. Possibly, if I'm just going back to work and coming back. Either way, so fam, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there because that was my last slide, and I only want to come on here just to simply encourage people. And I really have to, again, y'all hear me say this all the time. You need to get consistent with your videos. I need to get consistent with being online. But I'm gonna be honest and transparent. It is hard balancing family, your work, your personal life outside of, you know, this whole YouTube thing. Sitting down to do a video sometimes is hard, especially when you live in a space with your family. It's very hard. So I'm gonna be honest. With me teaching and doing things with my family, it's very hard to be on YouTube. So I just said this to my sister before I got on live. I was like, oh man, I really don't want to be a YouTuber no more. Like, I don't even want to call myself a YouTuber. Um, because I'm really not that, man. I'm really not a YouTuber. I'm just a person who came across some videos about Africa, and my mom encouraged me to get on YouTube and follow a lot of these groups. Even though some of these groups have caused us and a lot of other diaspora a lot of pain, it's good to have people who don't try to hide who they are behind the camera screen. So even though I know we all put on the face to get on this channel or get on these platforms, I'm gonna be honest, I wear my feelings on my shoulders, and I'm looking rough because we've been out and about around. Me and my daughter went on a walk, and I didn't really care about trying to put on nothing to get on YouTube. So either way, fam, y'all bless y'all. I pray that y'all are doing well. I'm gonna read Sister Betty's last comment, and she says, "What's real sad about this whole move to the continent, to the motherland, the fact that it is so many channels on it, and as soon as that particular couple was found out, it's like no one wants to talk." Well, Sister Betty, maybe me, you, and Sister Wanda and Jamaican African Travels and any other diaspora can get on and do our talk about how the community, especially the Hebrew Israelite community, have abandoned all the people of the diaspora, have completely ignored all the turmoil and all the pain that was caused, by these two particular witch and warlock couple. It's very sad, and I think we should talk about it eventually. I know we said we didn't want to talk about it anymore, but seeing that these people are still out here talking about what they're doing on the continent, and we know that they're not doing nothing but running their mouth, um, it is what it is, fam. I just pray that nobody else gets scammed by any of these people. So, but family, I'm here to tell you from experience, our move to invest and build in the community and continent has been the best investment of my entire retirement. That's what Sister Betty said. So you heard it from her. She is setting up her retirement home, and same with my uncle. He's building his retirement home. My mom is building her retirement home. Me and my wife are working. We're going to continue to work like Hebrew slaves until we are at that age, but we're going to continue to try to build and get our family out of here. Like, it's no point in just trying to be here in the U.S. You can make money here, but it's time to start moving to another country. And I wanted to pull up a screenshot of something, and I'm just not going to do it because this laptop been giving me too many issues. One of my classmates tagged me in a comment on social media of a popular influencer that posted 4 things that you should be doing right now. And the first thing was you should be downsizing and limiting your spending. And the second thing was like you should be, living in an RV or something like that, or purchase, downsizing again. Then the next one I think was like your investments and how you save. And then the last one was moving to another country. And this was a Caucasian woman, so it was very, it felt good to see her saying that we need to move out of here, move somewhere else. So I was very happy to hear that. So she said that you should also be moving to another country. So for people who want to fully move back to the U.S. because you've been hurt or things have happened to you in different African countries, don't fully give up, because you have experience that no one else can describe. Nobody else can help you with that. So I'm happy you brought that up, Sister Betty. All right, Brother Tim said, I would really like to hear that dialogue. Yes, man, because it's a good one. You will get lost. You will get a lot of respect for doing it. So, and it will help diaspora. You're right. We definitely gonna do it. And actually, maybe we can pull together and do it tomorrow. Because I think tomorrow will be a good day to do it. I just got to get connected with everybody else. Maybe I'll send an email right after this. All right, Shalom Fam. All right, Shalom Fam. And I didn't leave not one comment. But fam, again, I know I said I wasn't finna be on here that long. We're just about to get off. So I'm going to try to put together maybe a quick panel, and we're just going to talk about the state of the diaspora right now and this Hebrew Israelite movement that we started to put together. I ain't put together nothing, to be honest. All right. Sister Betty said, I really respect you, Arthur, for coming on and continuing to press and encourage family not to give up on their dream and moving back to the motherland and seeing people that look like us. Hallelujah. Thank you. It's all the Most High, because it's been on me every day to do a video, and I'm going to continue to encourage people. Brother Tim, I know you just found a channel. You probably didn't watch a lot of videos, and we always encourage people, like, believe half of what these YouTubers say, me included, until you actually experience it, because your experience is always, or could always be, different from mine. And it's just reality, man. We just got to keep it 100. People can't expect perfection when they move into countries that's developing. So, but one thing I do miss, and this is sad that this is just what I miss being able to go and buy like cheap snacks, and I miss being able to just I miss being able to stretch that $20 the whole week. You know, you'll be lucky if you can stretch $150 in 3 days in the U.S. And y'all know, I know y'all probably saying I'm complaining, but I'm trying not to. I promise it's not me complaining. Look, my wife agreed. Me too. I miss being able to stretch the money real far. All right. Y'all bless y'all, fam, and Brother Tim and the rest of the fam, just Betty, my wife. I pray that all of y'all. Oh man, they bringing back the memories right now. Them cassava chips, we love them cassava chips, man. Oh my gosh, my daughter just said that the other day. We was talking about the plantain chips, but then we was like, man, no, them cassava chips, man, and it's just lightly salted. It just hits every time. Every time. Every time. We really going outside being here. And I was just saying that the other day, we are not missing anything being here in the US but a bunch of poison in our food. Like, I've been aching and dealing with skin things since I've been back here. Like, it's just real bad. With my wife with the laughing face, and she talking about the cassava chips too. I knew she was gonna say that. All right, so yeah, we're gonna definitely come back together for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and send an email to the family. So everyone else, y'all look forward to that, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Y'all bless. We'll talk tomorrow. All right. I don't even know how to leave this.